Hi class. So today we're going to cover a couple of things in the curriculum. We are going to be looking at what a void method is, what a void method is with parameters, and this is all vocabulary that we want to pay attention to. And so we need to understand what parameters are. And we're also going to look at calling non-void methods. So this is section 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, and 2.5. So we're going to be calling a void method with parameters, and then a non-void method. And it's all really interconnected. And so I'm going to go to the playground right now, and I already created a new folder that I'm calling logic. And through this course, I would like to program some logic gates. And this summer, with a couple of students, we went through a logic math class, or at least we previewed a logic math class. And I would like to bring that into the programming world a little bit. And so those of you that were with me might say, yay, I know where we're going to go with this. So I'm going to make another file. And so launcher is going to be where we launch our code from. But this next file, I'm going to just call it logic.java. And it's going to house a lot of our logic functions. Okay, so typically what we do in any class is we have something called global variables. And we always declare those towards the top of our code. They don't have to go here, but it's a good place for them to go. So we put our global variables first. After that, we will put our constructor, if we have a constructor. If we don't have a constructor, then we don't have to. And then we have our methods. And that's the general flow. You don't have to follow that, but every programmer does that. Now, in a function, I'm going to call this public not gate. And this is going to take a Boolean. We'll just call it we'll call it B, and it's going to return a Boolean. And what we want this not gate to do is if we pass in a true, we want to return a false. If we pass in a false, we want to return a true. So we can just return a not B. So our not gate's just going to basically flip whatever we have. And the exclamation point means not, so that's a function. Now, public means that you can call this from outside of this file. Boolean means I have to return a true or false. Not gate is, and that's the return value. Not gate is the function name. Boolean B, this is a single parameter that's being passed in, and it's got to be a true or false statement. And then B will become that true or false statement. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to also call this public Boolean AND gate. So an AND gate is going to have two Booleans, A and B. And this will return true only if A and B are true. So we can say return A and B. So this is also a public function, meaning it can be called from outside, it can be called from our other file. It also must return a Boolean statement. The function name is ANDGate, and this takes two parameters, A and B, Boolean and Boolean. And we would say A and B are the arguments. And then we're going to, right away, we're going to return if A and B. So this is basically going to resolve as true if A and B are true. And then we can go on and create others. Now, there will be instances where we'll have things called private functions. Private functions, they will be called only if I needed like a helper for one of these functions. These are pretty simple functions, so we don't have any helpers. But I could have something called private, and if it was private, it would not be called from outside of this function. And a void function might be print helper. And so a void function will not have a return type. If we want to call a return, we would just say return. But we wouldn't return anything because void is nothing. This one has no parameters. And we might just say system.out.println. This will be a helper text. And we can later figure out what we want to print. But so typically if you have a void function, it does something. If you have a function that has a return value, it calculates something and then gives you an answer back. Now it is possible that an AND gate could do something and return something, although that would be bad coding because functions should typically do one thing. So that's most of what I wanted to cover here. So calling a void, so let's call the void function. So from here, we could say logic, just call it L equals new logic. And there is no constructor, so the constructor is like an invisible thing. It won't do anything. I can't pass any arguments in because it wouldn't know what to do with those. And then I could say system.out.print, and then I could say L dot, and what was the function name? AND gate. And that takes two arguments. We'll say true and false. Now an AND gate, if you pass it in true and false, for it to work, it's got to be true and true. So this should return false. And so what's going to happen is in our object L, it's going to call the function AND gate. As soon as it hits this, it's going to jump to here, and it's going to assign A to true and B to false, and then it's going to return if true and false. And true and false is not true, so it's going to return the false value. Then it will come back to launcher, and then it will print false. And we can test this real quick. So let's open up the terminal. And let me just go to our directory. So we're going to go to period 6. And then we're going to go to logic. And I'm going to say Java C launcher Java. And then Java C Java launcher. And right now it's not taking any arguments or anything, but it does print the false statement that we were expecting. We'll be doing more with our logic file, and hopefully this will turn into an interesting longer term lesson. Thank you for your attention, and I hope this helps.